Hello? Yes. Yes. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, no, you found me just in the middle of two things, so this is a good time. How did
Hi, Judy.
Hi, Shell. I thought I didn't go because I didn't have a reservation.
Oh,
I'm trying to abide by that policy.
I think that's a good thing, but I missed you. I sat with the bakers. They were very pleasant.
Oh, good. I sat yesterday with the sellers. I hadn't sat with them before. They're an interesting couple too.
Yes, yes.
And also, have you met Pat and Steve Campen? They moved into Joan Jones' old apartment in the E building.
I don't think I've met them.
Yeah, they're very nice couple.
What's their name again?
Pat and Steve Campen, Campen.
No, I know I haven't met them.
I think they've only been here 2 weeks.
Oh, well then,
Yeah.
okay. And they're on the other side of the world from me.
Yeah, but they seem to be getting around the campus all right.
Good,
The dining room, so.
good. Okay.
Hi, Sharon.
Hello. Oh, I love your rose.
Isn't that
That's from the
pretty?
garden,
That's lovely.
from, downstairs here.
The rose garden,
Mhm.
very pretty.
I don't think they grow them that big.
As big as my head.
Yeah. It looks like a cute hat.
How's that? It does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
The Easter bonnet.
yes.
Well, you could make a lot of money on that fertilizer that you're using.
Yeah. My verbal fertilizer. You don't usually wear glasses, do you, Bradley?
I don't. I don't usually wear them, but we're giving it a whirl. See how it goes.
You look very distinguished.
Yeah.
Beard
And
and
it's good to-
glasses.
And it's good
Anything,
to see.
anything I can do to make me look a little smarter, at least. I'll take it. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I think we'll give it another 30 seconds or so to allow a few more people to join, and then we'll get started. While I guess while we're waiting, I've got a joke. It's a good one.
I'm laughing already and you haven't even told it.
Let me see, make sure I tell this correctly. What are the strongest days of the week?
What are the strongest days of the week? What are they?
Anybody? Saturday and Sunday, because all the other days are weekdays.
Oh,
Oh.
boo.
Oh my God, you're as bad as Victor.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for joining, those that are here on Zoom. We likely have several that are joining at home as well on TLG TV. So welcome to all of you who we may not see here on the Zoom. It is good to be with you as always. I don't have a ton of items on my agenda, so I'll mention a few things. And I know that, or I can imagine there are lots of questions about, I don't know, any number of things. So we'll have plenty of time to respond to all of your questions, comments, feedback. Before I forget, this afternoon, we have a community currents event coordinated by Ms. Marion Shane. And we have the, if I'm hopefully get this correct, the captain of the Montessorino Police Department, who will be here at the community in the GRA at 3 o'clock. And it will also be available to join on Zoom as well. And I would assume as well on TLG TV, channel 998. So that should be a really good event. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. And I know that a lot of work has gone into coordinating it. So thank you to Ms. Shane and anyone else that's been involved. Again, that's this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And if any of the information I just shared is incorrect, please speak now.
Yeah, she also is the captain of the Los Gatos Police. It's 2 different places that she is. And then we're also having Jackie Rose as part of it. And Jackie Rose does a lot of community outreach. And she does it with CERT and of course many other things too. So it's going to be well worth going to because it's community police. Things have changed tremendously and we really need to keep up with what's happening.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for that additional information. And again, thank you for coordinating this event. Couple of other items. If you have not had a chance to complete our spirituality survey, please, we encourage you to do so. It's a very simple survey that the goal is for us to get a better sense of what the community's needs and expectations and desires are as we work towards bringing in a new spiritual care director to the community and helping set them up for success and developing a program that best meets the needs of as many residents as possible. So you can find the survey online if you go to tlgjoin.com. There's a link just up at the top of the page. And the survey will remain open until the end of this week. I think Sunday is the last day that survey will be open. We've currently received only 29 surveys, which is, we're grateful for those 29. Even if spirituality or religion in any way, shape, or form is not something that's important to you, we'd like to hear that as well. So the survey literally would take maybe, if you put a whole lot of thought into it, 45 seconds. if you put very little thought into it, it could probably be done in 30 seconds. So if you wouldn't mind, we'd love to have as many of those completed as possible. Again, Sunday will be the last day that those surveys will be open. Also, just an update on that position. We have narrowed down the number of candidates that are in the running for that position to, I think we have 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think there's four candidates that are left. We're really hoping actually to have a final decision made by the end of the day tomorrow. And if all goes well, have an announcement to make at some point next week on who the individual will be that will take that role and a start date. So again, hoping to have that information to announce hopefully by the end of next week. Also, we have made some, as many of you are aware, actually, as most of you I'm sure are aware, we have a new on-site IT administrator. Sangeeta is her name, and she's been doing a wonderful job already. And also Kendall Bonnie, who we all know is also working very closely with Sangeeta as we look to improve the resident IT support services that we provide here at the community. Kendall and Sangeeta have worked together and created a couple of new ways to be able to request IT support. And so previously, and up until now, it's still available to request IT support through the technology. I think it's called the Technology Cube on TLG Connect. It is, let's see. Yeah, the IT support cube on TLG Connect. So you can still go to TLG Connect in the IT support cube, submit a request for IT support. However, if you need IT support, there is a decent chance that you aren't able to log into TLG Connect or possibly even get your computer started or connected to the internet. If you can't get into TLG Connect, but you can still have access to a computer or email, there's a new email address that's been created that you can submit a request for IT support by email. And then after that's done, a ticket will be created through TLG Connect. Either Kendall or Sangeeta will, or possibly somebody else, would reach out to you to schedule some time to provide the necessary support. There's also a new telephone number that is a direct, it actually goes directly to mailbox. It most likely wouldn't be answered right away. It most likely would go directly to the voicemail box and not be answered. But that is being monitored closely on a daily basis, and return phone calls will be made as promptly as possible to schedule IT support. So there's been some information that was published to TLG Connect on the news a couple of days ago about it. There's also a little video that was created, and there'll be additional information, or that information will also be included in the weekly updates today. So if you have an IT need, and the best way for you to request it is by phone, we want to encourage people to call that number as opposed to the concierge desk. And that number, if anyone wants to jot it down, it's 408-357-1109. So 357-1109. And then the email address, it's kind of a long one, but it's tlgresidentitsupport@humangood.org. Again, tlgresidentitsupport@humangood.org. And let's see, a couple of other just updates on some ongoing projects. We had a very productive meeting this morning. We were finally able to get together with the architect as well as the designer and our regional director of buildings and grounds, and myself, as well as Vincent, this morning to discuss the Galleria remodel. And so we are underway. We're getting underway with the design process. So in the coming weeks, we'll be sharing more information about how that process will be carried out from now until completion, so that we make sure to keep everyone, and we'll make sure to keep everyone updated as best we can throughout that process. We're definitely going to be working collaboratively with residents, members of our advisory board, to make sure that we are doing our best to meet everyone's expectations as best as possible as we go through that design process. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a huge benefit to existing residents, as well as a added value to prospective and future residents that hopefully will be moving into the terraces in the coming years. So more details will be shared in the coming weeks about how we anticipate that process to go. We're also well underway with our budget planning process for 2022. I know budget planning is it's not only my favorite part of my job, but it's your favorite part of being a resident of the terraces is hearing about budget planning and monthly fee increases. I know that's probably the meeting that everyone looks forward to more than anything else each and every year. So we are working hard to plan for the coming year, and we anticipate on November 1st, we'll have some written information to distribute to all the residents about the 2022 budget. And then probably a week or two after that, we'll have a presentation, which will be an opportunity for discussion and questions about the 2022 budget. Also, just an FYI, I don't actually have many details yet, but I'll share more once I have them. But as an organization, and actually I take that back, as an industry, there are many companies within the senior living industry that are combining efforts to how do I explain it? To conduct resident surveys of residents across all different companies and different organizations, residents that are living in senior living communities, about the resident experience through the COVID, specifically, I believe, through the COVID-19 pandemic, and using that information to help make that information, at least the anticipated goal is to make that information as public as possible, to help I don't know if it's to help change or help balance out or help give the media or just the general public some positive stories of residents that have lived in senior living communities throughout the pandemic. It'll be really interesting to see what happens over the course of the next year or two in terms of interest in senior living communities. Some people say that the senior living industry is going to go away because nobody wants to live in a senior living community, especially during a pandemic. But others will say otherwise. And actually what we're seeing is there's actually an increased interest in communities like ours. And so anyways, there's a sort of a collaboration of many different organizations. And so there may be a short questionnaire or a request for sort of sharing your experiences that may be coming in the next month or so, which will hopefully be a benefit not only to the Terrace de los Gatos, but to all of Human Good and really all of the senior living industry across the country. I think that's all that I had. Oh, no, forgot about this thing called COVID. So just a quick update. Not actually too much of an update, but vaccinations for team members, as everyone has probably heard, we have a deadline of September 30th for all team members to either be vaccinated or have an approved either medical or religious exemption as required by law. So we are going through that process. We're getting down to the wire, and we have our team member vaccination rate. Fully vaccinated team members, I believe, is at 94%. We have 4 team members that have had approved exemptions, and we have, I'm not sure how many other team members that we are not sure what will happen between now and the end of the month, and so we will wait and see. I'm feeling very good about our position. Many other communities within Human Good or outside of Human Good have really struggled to get their team members vaccinated. And come the deadline of those team members needing to be vaccinated or not work anymore, they're going to be in a really challenging situation. So we may unfortunately part ways with some team members, or at least temporarily part ways with some team members until that gets sorted out. But it's maybe a handful of team members, and that's all. There's some communities that are still hovering, 50% vaccination rate or 60 or even 70% vaccination rates, which could really create some significant staffing challenges if they don't get vaccinated or have approved exemptions. We do not currently have any COVID-19 cases here in the community, or don't have any known COVID-19 cases here in the community. So want to thank all of you for your continued efforts to keep yourselves, keep each other, and keep others safe and healthy. No significant changes, at least within the last few weeks, to our current protocols. Visitors are still permitted throughout all of the community. Visitors are required to provide proof of vaccination or proof of a negative COVID test that was taken within 72 hours of the visit. And apart from that, those are the main points, or the main precautions that are currently in place. I'm sure that there are questions about booster shots. Many of you have probably heard that yesterday, the FDA announced that a Pfizer booster shot has been approved for adults age 65 and older, as well as people that work in environments that I can't remember, I don't have it in front of me. Let's see here.
Healthcare and education.
Okay, there we go. Let's see. So individuals 65 years and older, individuals that are 18 to 64 that have high risk of severe COVID-19, and then individuals 18 to 64 whose frequent institutional or occupational exposure to COVID-19 puts them at risk for serious complications. And so that just came out yesterday from the FDA. We don't have any additional information beyond that at this point. Our corporate clinical team is feverishly working on figuring out exactly what that means for our communities, and how quickly and how efficiently we can make those booster shots available for our residents as well as our team members. And I anticipate we will know a lot more within the next few days, but I don't have any additional information besides that. I was on CVS's website about an hour ago, and they haven't had any updates to their website. I was checking to see if you can go in and schedule through CVS directly to go to a CVS pharmacy to get your booster shot, and it doesn't give that as an option yet. And so I'm sure they're working feverishly as well to make updates to their systems to be able to make the booster shots available. I don't know if you, I'm assuming maybe if you contact the CVS directly or go directly to the pharmacy, they may be able to administer it. I don't know at this point.
I just have one additional comment, if that's okay.
Please.
After CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky signs off on the ACIP recommendations, booster shots may be given immediately. And that's from CDC, CNN. But that signature has not been done yet.
Okay.
But people are waiting.
Got it. Thank you for sharing. All right. Well, I will open up the meeting to anyone else for questions, topics you'd like to discuss, or any feedback you'd like to share.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Judy.
So most of us are trying to be more diligent about dining room reservations. And my question is, are there consequences for people who go to the dining room without I don't know if consequences is the right word, but yeah, maybe, who go to the dining room without a reservation? How are they going to solve that problem?
That's a good question. And Sherry and Jerry and I have had some conversation about this. I will first start off by saying, I know that this is a difficult issue. I know a lot of people are very frustrated about the requests, our requests to make reservations in the dining room. One, because it's complicated and sometimes it's logistically not feasible to make reservations. And also, I've heard some feedback, which is completely understandable, that this is your home and you don't necessarily want it to feel like a restaurant, and whether you're sort of have a reservation or not sort of determines whether or not you'd be able to eat in your own home. So I certainly can appreciate some of the frustrations with that process. Logistically, the reality of life right now is that is the best way for us to be able to provide the best dining experience possible for the residents. It helps us to be able to plan accordingly. It also helps us to be able to stagger the times when residents are coming in to the dining room. If all the residents showed up at the dining room at 11:45, all at the same time, you're not going to have a great dining experience. And so we're trying to do as much as we can to ensure that you do have the best dining experience possible. If when residents show up to the dining room, to get back to the original question, without reservations, there's no penalty per se, or but the dining team has worked really hard to be able to accommodate those residents as quickly as possible. But what will likely happen or could potentially happen in that case is if there's not a reservation, worst case scenario, we can't accommodate you. But what would likely happen would be that you may need to wait a little while to get a table. And we're trying to work with our dining services team to figure out the best way to handle those situations. And I know it's difficult for our team members to tell residents, sorry, you've got to wait until we can accommodate you. And so, but we really have to, sometimes at least we have to make sure that the dining experience isn't negatively impacted by others. So we're not going to kick you out on the street. We're not going to, I don't know, cut off a finger.
And I would guess too that this affects the supply issue too. If a whole lot of people show up that the dining services hadn't planned on.
Well, it could theoretically impact that. In general, we have the same, or at least close to the same number of people dining every day. And so from a supply standpoint, it doesn't have much of an impact. It's more of just the logistics of getting people seated and being able to serve them, as well as being able to prepare the food in a timely manner. One of the things that's significantly different from our culinary program now from previous times is that almost everything is made, is cooked to order. And so if we had food that was all pre-made and sitting in a steam table, we could serve a lot more people a lot quicker, but the experience goes down and the food quality definitely goes down. So it's more of a logistics from a service and cook standpoint.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ms. Garland.
Yes, I wanted to point out something that happened to me 2 different days, and I'm not exactly the type to have my feelings hurt, but I had been away for 2 days to my daughter's, and I came back and tried to get some time for lunch and dinner, and they were all full. And when you do that in 2 days, they say no reservations are left. To some people, that would be kind of a slap in the face. I was really just kind of stunned I had not seen that on there, that just no time at all was available.
Hmm.
And does that come up all the time?
That's a good question. And I know that I have heard, and I'm aware of that, there are certain times that get booked up faster than others, but I haven't actually been aware of any days where they're completely booked up and there aren't any spots available at all.
Obviously, some people know when to order ahead, so they get all their times. But like, I wasn't sure when I'd come home, so I had not made any ahead of time. And I just think that's kind of where you, like you say, we feel it's our home. And yet when you say, I'm going to go to dinner, what time? Oh, you can't go. There's no time available.
Yeah.
I say it didn't hurt my feelings, but I can see some people thinking, oh my, I just won't get any food today, you know?
Yeah, well, we definitely don't want that to happen. And I guess I need to be careful the way I say this, especially if Jerry or anyone from Dining Services is on the line. I don't want to. I want to make sure that we are encouraging people to make reservations. If there aren't any times available at all, and you've done everything that you can, and you still got to eat, go down to the dining room, and they will make sure to accommodate you as quickly as possible. Although, like I said, you may need to wait a little while, but they will continue to help make sure that everybody has the opportunity to eat a meal. What we want to do, and we know that there are certain circumstances where you simply cannot make a reservation for one reason or another. And we get that and we understand that. What we want to do is just make sure that everyone that's able to make a reservation, that it does so. Again, understanding that certain circumstances people won't be able to, but that we want to make sure is the sort of rare exception to the rule, as opposed to the rule itself. Ms. Kubarian, question or comment? Oh, you're muted. I'm not sure, Ms. Kubarian, if you can hear, but you are muted.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you? Okay. If you try to make your reservation within an hour and a half or so before the meal, it's going to come up that there are no spaces available because they've already printed out the list. So
Oh, okay.
you can call in and ask for it or whatever, but you need to do it 2 hours at least before the meal.
Thank you for that piece of information. I think that is good to know. Thank you.
Right.
Mr. Barish?
I'm the one who doesn't know as many people.
Okay, let's see. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Barish.
Really, question about comments on TLG Connect. There are various people that work on the system. You've identified there are people that train on the system. There's a resident committee that works diligently with you. What's the best place to drop comments about TLG Connect? Example, things that are on the news block are some of them are 6 months old. Maybe they're still appropriate, but there must be a better place than blocking up the news channel with old information. Who do you suggest as a point of contact for TLG Connect comments, inputs?
Good question. The best thing to do would actually be to reach out and contact Kendall Bonnie directly. And you could swing by her desk or give her a call or send her an email. Also, the IT email address, you could contact, send it in that way. But for something of like that nature, specific to TLG Connect and updates, if you can, yeah, just reach out directly to Kendall.
Well, I don't want to belabor the point, but for quite some time, a bunch of things that were information have gotten dropped down to the bottom of the information list. And it has been the subject of some conversation. And the idea is there's no search function. So the specific example is new resident bios. One, they're not getting posted. There are people that have moved in who have bios, and they're not there. And the other thing is they're at the bottom of the barrel. And if you don't look all the way down, you'll come away saying, I guess it's not part of what is on TLG Connect anymore.
So that's actually an interesting point that you make about specifically about the information cube. And I'm not sure if there's anyone else on the call that has more details to share. But I know that Kendall is working closely with the resident committee, as you mentioned, on cleaning up, reorganizing, and restructuring specifically the information cube to make sure that all of the information there is not only current and relevant, but easier to access. And so it's an ongoing project that is being worked on at the moment. I'm not sure if there's.
Yeah. So Bradley, this is Bob Strain. And there are some serious shortcomings in the cubicle architecture. And Kendall, along with those of us in the TLG Connect committee, are trying to work to get around those. We are sort of in the middle of trying to get these changes incorporated. And in fact, one of the changes could result in having a search function available, but not a global search function. So what you're seeing now is that terrible state between the past and the future, and it's called confusion. But everybody's working to try to make it better. And so all I can say is just try to be a little bit patient with us and hope for the best. Now, your first comment, of course, was a content issue. And the TLG Connect committee is not, it's working to try to make the content issue easier to manage. But right now it takes an active intervention to get a news item off. And if somebody runs out of time, that active intervention doesn't happen. And so a reminder, and I think to Kendall, in the case of a content issue, is the best move. But some of this other stuff, we're just trying to make it better, and we're asking for your patience.
Thank you for that comment, Bob. And thank you. I know that the committee has been very actively helping support the system and help us figure out the workarounds to be able to make it a better user experience. but by also providing suggestions, recommendations, and a little bit of pressure as well on our partners at Cubigo to make some improvements. And one of the improvements that's currently being worked on is for the news items to be able to set in advance when we publish a news item, to be able to set a date where it automatically falls off. So that will ultimately be the way that issue gets resolved. I'm not sure when that update is scheduled to be finished, but that should at least make significant improvements on keeping the news items, only the current ones published.
As I recall, that's toward the end of this year. So the end of the year is approaching faster than I could imagine.
All right, thank you. About this probably tomorrow, but we are working with our therapy team and to supplement our existing activities and life enrichment and fitness and exercise programs in all of our levels of living. And we're going to be introducing additional weekly fitness classes provided by our therapists in all levels of living. So in the Grove, we're going to be starting a therapeutic movement class. That's going to be starting next week. For anyone that may be interested, that's going to be on Thursdays at 10:30. For our assisted living residents, we're going to be starting a class called Total Body Stretch. That's going to be on Thursdays at 11 o'clock in the Shasta room. So again, for our assisted living residents, Thursdays at 11, a total body stretch class. In the health center, they're going to be doing a chair yoga class on Wednesdays at 11:30. And for residential living residents, going to be starting a total body stretch class on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. So again, Wednesdays at 10 o'clock, a new class. And I believe they're going to be starting next week, and we'll get information out to everybody tomorrow. So those should be great classes we're looking forward to and encourage everyone to participate in. Any other questions, comments, topics?
I have a comment, Bradley.
Yes, go ahead, Shell.
It's Shell. Thank you for the ice cream truck yesterday. That was a real treat. My comment is perhaps instead of the residents lining up down the middle of Fountain Court in the heat, that they line up down one of the walkways and maybe park the truck a little bit one way or the other so that the walkway is shaded and they won't have the direct sun on them.
That is a great suggestion. Thank you for making that suggestion. And I'm glad that it was a success yesterday, but we will definitely make note of that suggestion for future similar events. Thank you. Ms. Barish. Oh, you are muted.
Okay, how about now?
Perfect.
Great. I got an email soliciting advocacy from Leading Age, and I sent you some questions. I won't repeat all those there, but could you explain the relationship between Human Good and Leading Age? Is Human Good on board with what Leading Age is asking for?
Great question. So for those that may not know, Leading Age is an advocacy group that works to ultimately affect policy changes that impact primarily nonprofit senior living communities, senior living providers. And Human Good is a I don't know if Human Good as an organization or if our individual communities are members of Leading Age, but we're certainly active partners with Leading Age. They provide a great resources for us as providers, and they also do great work working with legislators and others to affect positive or policy changes that are positive for the industry. I appreciate actually the email that you sent me the other day, and I think that we can and should and will look at ways to do a better job of communicating some of that information to the residents, so residents can also stay engaged and advocate as they best see fit. We haven't, at least here at the Terraces, and I don't know about other communities, we haven't done much along those lines, but that's something that we can definitely, there'd be value in figuring out how to do that a little bit better. But yeah, we definitely support Leading Age and the initiatives that they work on.
Thank you for that, Bradley. For people who haven't seen it, the advocacy being proposed is support for what I would say is huge amounts of funding for senior care, and including for communities like ours, and for training, and so it's not just policy, which is off in the weeds somewhere. It's right now intertwined with the multiple trillions of dollars of financing that's being proposed by some members of Congress and the administration.
Thank you. And I think it's, if you want to look up more information, I think it's just leadingage.org. I think there's also leadingage.ca.org for California. I could have that site URL wrong, but if you just Google Leading Age, it'll pop up. It is a really great organization. Any last final questions, comments, or topics to discuss?
I have something. For those of us that are going to the immersive Van Gogh exhibit, we will meet at 9:45 at the Fountain Court. And don't forget to bring your proof of vaccination, as the San Jose City Council has voted to have everybody provide proof of vaccination in the city of San Jose.
Is a phone copy okay, or does it have to be the card?
I think it should be okay. They didn't specify the copy, they just said proof of vaccination. So I will be bringing my copy on my phone. I'm not bringing my vaccination card. And we do have 2 spots open if anyone wants to join us tomorrow.
Thank you, Dana. And let's see, Ms. Kubarian, is that an old hand up or new hand up?
No, it's a new hand up.
Ah, great, go ahead.
And this is probably a funny question. We're starting to look a little bit shabby here. You go in the GRA and all the junk is still in there. You go in the game room where there are 2 light fixtures missing. And then you look out onto the patio, and that patio that used to be nice with a table and flowers and whatever is filled with all kinds of supplies. A lot of the walls are chipped and cracked, and a lot of other things that's starting to make it look, if you're trying to appeal to new people, all they're going to see is shabby if you show them anything around there, like our 30s Galleria. I know that's going to be fixed, but are there any plans to try and get to this, or is this post-pandemic? We're going to have to wait.
Well, it is, that's a very good question. And you're absolutely right. There's a couple of things at play. There's the gallery remodel obviously will be huge, and that it will actually expand a little bit further out of the Galleria itself. And so areas like the game lounge and surrounding areas will be included in that project, as well as the sales office entrance and that area. But the sort of routine wear and tear, there's certainly a lot of attention that needs to be given to a lot of areas, and we can't just wait for that remodel. It is an issue, to be honest, of staffing right now, and I hate to say that or use that as an excuse, but it is the reality that we're facing. We have just extended an offer to an additional full-time maintenance technician, and that maintenance technician specifically will be assigned to a lot of projects around the community, like you had mentioned, patching, painting, giving attention to those areas.
Power washing the patio. The cement is really dirty, icky looking. It really needs to be power washed.
Oh, okay. I'll make sure that gets passed along. So long run, a lot of those areas are going to be completely redone. Short run is we're trying to bring in some more resources to be able to give some of those areas some more attention. So hopefully we'll see some improvement soon. All right. Well, I think we will end there a couple of minutes early, which is great because I've got to run out to the Sequoia room for a budget planning committee meeting at 2:30. So I want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you for all of your support of all of our team members and supporting each other. And hope everyone has an enjoyable afternoon. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.